Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our edition on grooming and etiquette. Yes. So today our speaker is Sizo Mazolo. I know her personally. She's someone that I've actually worked with since 2019. So Mazolo, hi.
Hi, Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mazolo. Welcome, Coach Gomede. I couldn't miss it for anything. Oh, thank you for joining us today. Mazolo, welcome. So, just a short introduction to my viewers.
My viewers.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So, okay, just a minute. Okay. So, today's guest is Sizo. I like to call her Mazolo. So, she's someone that I actually know more on a personal level. Um, One of the main reasons why I invited you today for this grooming and etiquette session is because I once attended one workshop that she did online when she was talking about grooming and etiquette, and I really enjoyed that presentation. So I just thought, for the benefit of everyone, maybe they could just have a sample of what you did in that presentation. Tapua, welcome. And we can clearly hear you both. Oh, hi, Tapua. So, Sizzle, just to start, maybe you can just tell us a brief about yourself.
Okay. First of all, I'm not Mazolo. Mazolo is my father. Yes, my name is Tizolenkos Mazolo, and I am 30 years old. I do a lot of things, but well, today we're going to be talking about grooming and etiquette. I hold an executive certificate from the Zimbabwe Institute of Diplomacy. Um, the certificate is in grooming, etiquette, diplomacy, and protocol, as well as professional branding. So this is where my academic knowledge of grooming and etiquette come from, but a lot of other things as well coming from my own research as I go by.
Thank you so much, Sizzle, since you said Mazel is your father. So maybe just a question as we begin like those talks and stuff. Why grooming and etiquette? I'm that person who is very stubborn. I remember like one incident. I was going for an interview. Then someone asked me, "Why are you wearing eyeshadow?" And I was like, "They want to interview me as an individual, but not per se like how I look." So
Ah,
I understand that grooming and etiquette talks about how you're supposed to dress for an interview. But like
mhm.
this generation of ours, our argument is you want to know me for who I am, not for who I dress. So maybe just to give us more knowledge on that, why is grooming and etiquette very important?
Okay. Well, maybe let's first of all define what these two terms are, and then we
Mm-hmm.
will take it from there. So, well, giving a textbook definition of grooming and a general definition of grooming would just call it an art of how a person takes care of themselves. How you keep your hair, how you keep your body, how you keep your teeth, and everything else that makes it pleasant to deal with you, that concerns your body. That would be grooming. Then grooming and etiquette are very difficult to separate. They usually go hand in hand because they complement each other. So
Mm-hmm.
etiquette is basically the rules that govern how we interact with others in society. We could say etiquette is what they taught you in kindergarten, what they taught you in creche, your please, thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, things like that. Just things that ways that help you be a pleasant person to deal with in society. So
Okay.
coming to your question of why it matters how you look, let me say one thing that is very popular that I think everybody knows. You don't
Mm,
get a second chance to make a first impression. You only have
mm,
one time to make a first impression, and that's a very few seconds that you have. The moment you knock and somebody opens the door of their office and you're getting in, they look at you before you open your mouth to say all these things that you've learned, all these degrees that you've swallowed. They have judged, or well, maybe let's not choose the word judge, but let's say they've assessed the kind of person that they think you are, or how you appear to look like.
mm-hmm. Okay.
So you could be going for an interview, and at the back of your mind, you're saying, well, they shouldn't look at my outward appearance, but they should actually consider my experience and my qualifications. But then each and every organization has a way that they wish their employees to conduct themselves, and each professional setting has well, not each professional setting, all professional settings have a way that they expect their people to behave like, to dress like. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a time for everything, there's a time for everything. There's a time for you to wear blue, purple eyeshadow. There's a time for that. And then there's a time for you to tone it down and actually go for the interview. After all, you're the one going there for an interview. They can decide not to give you a job because of that. So to answer your question, I'll just say first impressions matter. No matter what we tell ourselves, no matter what we think of ourselves, whether we like it or not, people will judge us according to what they see the first few seconds before we open our mouths to say anything.
Thank you so much, Mazolo. Moving on, maybe we can just talk about one of my favorite topics, makeup. Can you tell us the principles of makeup when it comes to grooming and etiquette? Maybe you can highlight the issue of lipstick, eyeshadow, the eyebrows, face powder,
Mhm.
just summing up everything.
Okay, all right. Well, yes, you are that's your field. That is your field. I know. I've asked a few questions even though I still fail to do proper makeup like you do. So I'd like to maybe kind of shift it a bit and
Mm-hmm.
talk about skin first before we actually talk about the application of makeup.
Okay.
So no amount of makeup can give you great skin. Well, you might be able to cover up a bit, but then when you go home, your real skin, how it looks like. So the end
Mm-hmm.
goal is to have good skin, to have glowing, healthy skin. And how do we achieve that? I've struggled for many years since my puberty, since when I was 13. I've struggled so much with my skin, and I've only recently started getting comfortable with it, maybe in the past three years. But before that, I was so uncomfortable. So what I've noticed though that helps a lot with skin is drinking a lot of water. I know we know this, we talk about it every day, but I know very few people practice it. But I've noticed that it works. Drinking a lot of water, number one, and number two, having a good diet. There is nothing that you're going to benefit from taking lots of spices and lots of oily food, and lots of sugar and stuff if you want your skin to glow. I had to quit sugar. I don't take sugar in my tea, so my tea is very plain. And I think it also contributed to helping me get my skin clear a bit. And then the other thing that I think most of us Zimbabwean ladies don't take into consideration is the use of sunscreen.
Mhm.
We know that it exists, but I think it's only a few who actually take it seriously, the application of sunscreen. But it helps so much because the more you get the sun rays coming onto your face, attacking your skin, the more you get your pores enlarged. That's how bad the sun can be on your skin. So whether you're going out, whether sunscreen, and they recommend that you actually apply sunscreen that is about 50% sun protection factor to protect yourself against the sun rays. So, and then the other thing is when you have applied your makeup, don't go home and sleep with it. I've learned that the hard way. I remember the first time I put makeup on was when I think I was a bridesmaid at a wedding. I came home and I was so tired that I just went straight to bed. The day after, I think towards the end of the day, I started getting these pimples, and because I already had bad skin, it just was a terrible breakout. And I know it from experience. Do not go to bed with makeup on. Even if you don't have makeup, even if you've applied your cream as you go out, wash your face. No matter how tired you are, wash your face before you go to bed. And it is always good to use not hot water, not cold water, but very lukewarm water, so that at least your skin can open up the pores, and then because the water is also not hot, the pores can also close because you don't want to have enlarged pores. I think you've seen how it's like when your pores are so large and it's like a strawberry. You know how a strawberry looks like, and you don't want that. So coming back to how we apply professional makeup, most people, if you've got great skin and you don't mind, you can go without foundation. But then some people would really like to use their foundation. What I would say is don't overdo it. With makeup, less is more. With makeup, less is more. Whatever you do, make sure that you have a good moisturizer, and you try by all means to get a foundation that actually tones well with your skin. Have you seen that sometimes you see someone has different color skin on the face, different complexion on the neck because they didn't know how to choose a good shade for their skin, which is when it comes in to help you choose a good color for your skin. So the other thing is with lipstick. There is lipstick that is acceptable in a workplace environment. I always recommend that we use nude lipstick. There's a lot of nude shades because it's so natural. It blends well with your skin. It blends well with your natural complexion. We can tell that you have lipstick, but we like it because it's not out there as if you are going for a disco or a club in the evening. And again, there is a time and place for everything. And then we
Thank you.
come to eyeshadow.
Mhm.
Come to eyeshadow. There is nothing wrong with your eyeshadow, but again, less is more. So let's try by all means, especially in a workplace setting, to have a kind, if it's going to be eyeshadow, tone it down so that it looks so natural. But then if you're going to be in other settings where you can be carefree, you can go ahead to do your large eyebrows and your blue and pink eyeshadow. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mazolo. Maybe just since you're talking about the workplace, I remember one incident. I actually went for a meeting,
Mhm.
like it was on a short notice. So my boss was like, "Let's go for this meeting at this particular place." Then after the
Mhm.
meeting, I saw this lady, and she was like, "Oh, you are the director's PA. Why are you not wearing heels?" So one of my questions when it comes to PA, when it comes to actually grooming and etiquette, and with relation to attending meetings, is
Mhm.
it really compulsory to wear heels at a workplace, or even when you're attending meetings, or even when you're going for interviews?
Okay, it's not exactly compulsory for a lot of reasons. Some people have back problems, and your doctor recommends that you shouldn't put on heels. So no one should force you to wear heels. But it is always recommended for a lady in a workplace environment to wear some heels. It doesn't have to be the large, many inches that you see sometimes that this person is really struggling with the shoe, but it can be a small kitten heel. And the reason why it is recommended for ladies to wear heels is because it improves your posture and it improves the way you walk. Sometimes when you're wearing flats, you're just like flabby like that. But then when you put on a pair of heels because you want to balance it out nicely, you gain a better posture and you gain a better step. So it's not compulsory for you to wear heels, but it always gives a better look when you're wearing heels. Your outfit always comes out better with heels than it does with flats. So if you want to wear flats, it's fine. You can wear your flats. Just make sure that they're clean and they're the right fit and the right size and the right color for a professional environment. But then if you can wear heels, please try to wear them. And also, there is no reason at all to wear heels if you can't. If you can't walk in them, don't worry. You can practice at home. So the best way for you to practice walking in heels is to get a good pair that is not too high, and then put a book on your head and keep straight. We walk straight ahead. Then you have a better that way you improve your posture in how you walk in heels. So these days also they have block heels, block heels. They're not the tiny
Mm-hmm.
pencil heels. So if you struggle with the pencil heels, you can always opt for block heels, but then you're still elevated and you have a better posture. So please, no pressure on heels, but they always come out nicer in an outfit.
Thank you so much, Mazolo. Maybe just to ask as well, since we are talking about the workplace, when it comes to the gents, is it like really compulsory for people to wear formal wear, which includes the suit, the tie, and the jacket?
Okay. Again, not compulsory, but always looks nicer. So it depends with your personal with your personal preference. It's always nice for gentlemen in the workplace to, I mean, you've seen it. You we can put two people here and we have one who is wearing a t-shirt and jeans. Then we've got another gentleman who's wearing a nice shirt, a nice tie, formal trousers, formal shoes, and you can tell like we said before when we began, there's a time and place for everything. If we are in a workplace, we have a particular way of how we're going to conduct and behave ourselves. There's a way that we're expected to behave in society. There's a way that we're expected to behave or dress in the workplace environment. So it always gives that professional look. It always gives a great first impression. And also when you dress nicely, you know that you dress nicely. It gives you better confidence. Your self-esteem is improved. You might actually not know much. You might not have much in your head, but because you're dressed nicely, your confidence is boosted, and you might actually get more opportunities than somebody who is dressed sharply. So, for everyone, regardless of your gender, it is always important to dress according to occasion. If we're at work, depending with the kind of work that you do. There are engineers at mines there. There's no need for us to find them wearing ties and formal clothes. They have their kind of dressing that they do. But then if you are an office worker, there is a certain way that you're expected to dress because you are in an office.
Thank you so much, Mazolo. Still at the workplace, there's this one meeting that I actually attended, and the CEO was actually flipping his phone face downwards. So when it comes to meetings, what's the etiquette that is involved in that workplace? Are we supposed to answer our calls? Are we supposed to be on WhatsApp? Uh, how best can we handle ourselves when we're at the workplace in a
Okay.
meeting?
Okay, so that cell phone etiquette, that is it's very controversial because a lot of people still have issues with it. But the most important thing to remember when you are in a meeting with someone, a physical face-to-face meeting with someone, is that the most important person right now is the person that you're talking to, not the person on your phone, unfortunately. Very sorry. So what happens is if you're going to be in a meeting, if I'm going to give you my time to say, well, Nettie, we can meet and we can talk about something, there is absolutely no reason why you should be on your phone, because in other words, you're telling me that my time is not important. You can do however with my time. You can be, for all I know, you could be on Google looking for other things, because I don't know what you're doing on your phone. So the best thing to do when you get to a meeting is to put your phone on silent and put it away. You don't want to see it on the table, even if it's face down. Put it away. Put it in a bag. Put it in a pocket somewhere. Put it on silent. It's always good to say before the meeting, if you are going to be expecting a call, to alert the person that you have a meeting with, or to tell the person on the phone that you're going to be in a meeting. So you probably need an hour, and then after an hour you call back. There is no reason why you should be in a meeting and you're flipping up and down your phone, because it to me it says, Sizo, you're not important. I have other important business to take care of. You might as well not be here. And people don't take lightly to that. It's very rude. Very rude.
Thank you so much, Mazolo. Um, and also another issue that I wanted to ask is the issue of time. So what time am I supposed to arrive for a meeting, whether it's a professional meeting or informal meeting, or maybe I'm supposed to meet up with someone. What time am I supposed to arrive at that particular place?
Okay. Punctuality. So there is a saying that says you are better an hour early than a minute late. So punctuality also has a lot to do with first impressions. Say, for example, we're meeting for the first time and we agree that we're going to meet at 2 p.m. You arrive at our meeting place, let's just say exactly 2 p.m. and you're already sitting down. And I arrive at around 2:30, 3 o'clock. How do you feel?
Disappointed, actually, and very
Why?
angry. Because they're wasting my time and they're not taking whatever
Exactly.
seriously.
Exactly. Nobody has time to wait, especially in this day and age, because people are so busy in their lives. They could be doing other important things, but they choose to come and meet you and show up late. Unless, of course, you're going to run late and you inform me beforehand. You don't start telling me that you're running late at exactly 2 p.m. when we're supposed to meet at 2 p.m. It doesn't work. And a lot of us do that. So if you know that you're going to be running late and you want us to reschedule our meeting, you'd rather tell me at least an hour or maybe 45 minutes before the actual meeting. It so happens that most of us do not take time seriously, but we have people who are actually serious about their time. They cost their time. If I spend an hour sitting down in this production that's supposed to be happening at my factory, you've taken away money from me, because I value my time and money. And I don't trust you with my time. I cannot trust you with any other thing. So I cannot even begin to imagine what it would be like if we had to set up another meeting and meet again. So it is always, always important to try as much as possible to be very early for meetings. Try to arrive at least 5, 10 minutes earlier. Give yourself time. Maybe you might get to the venue and find out that you need to do your makeup, so you run to the bathroom to fix your makeup, or you find that you're driving and you want to give yourself the allowance of roadblocks, especially these days with lockdown. There are cops
Mhm.
everywhere. You cannot think that you're going to arrive at the meeting place at the exact time if you just tell yourself, okay, it's not very far. Let me just give myself 5 minutes. Just give yourself an allowance for roadblocks, for traffic, for robots, and try to be there as early as possible. Remember the thumb rule: you'd rather be there an hour early than a minute late, because people cost their time.
Interesting, interesting. I feel like I'm very guilty when it comes to time.
You're not
I'm
alone.
usually the late one.
You're not alone.
So, Sizo, how best then can one give an apology? Let's say it's now 5 minutes to two, and I'm supposed to be there too. I planned out my day. Everything was going according to plan. Then all of a sudden, I just um, if one problem or one challenge along the way, then maybe I'll be
Mm.
there, maybe I come there 10 minutes late, then how best then can I give an apology to the person who might waiting for all this time?
Okay, there are a lot of things that happen unexpectedly. You know, you could be driving down the road and the injury an accident, and now you're delayed. Or you could be driving, going somewhere, and you're told something has happened at home. Just rush quickly. There are a lot of things that happen in our life that we have no control over, and we want to trust that the person that you're meeting might be an understanding person. So you just do your best to explain the situation as it is as soon as possible, as early as possible. The moment you find out that you're going to be late, regardless of how many minutes it's going to be that you're late, the moment you find out is always the best time to tell the person as it is. Don't try to blame other things. If it's traffic, it's traffic. If you're generally running late, you're running late. It's always bad. It being a liar, because some people can tell that you're lying. Especially on the phone, it's very hard for people to believe you. So you could just say it straight out as it is, and you trust that the person might be forgiving, and it's the best way to handle it, really.
Thank you so much, Mazolo. Moving forward, as you can see, like during this time, we're on lockdown, and most of the businesses actually are being done online, and
Mhm,
majority of the business actually are being done on WhatsApp. So now
mhm.
let's talk about phone etiquette. How then can people handle clients through the phone when they're communicating on the phone?
Okay, all right. So we're living in a time that we've never lived before. It's a situation that we've never experienced before. So there's a lot of learning and unlearning that is currently happening. So it's not very easy to answer phones or to make calls right now, especially to new people that you've never interacted with before. But I've always noticed that it is always best to talk about the current situation when you talk to someone on the phone for the first time. For example, right now, the most happening thing is the virus, the coronavirus. So I've noticed that it is always nice for you to start the conversation by acknowledging the fact that we have a challenge, we have a pandemic, we have a situation. Hello, how are you? I am Sizo. You introduce yourself obviously when you make a call to someone and talk about the current situation. How are you guys holding up? How are you keeping safe in these challenging times? Things are just hard everywhere. We hope that you are well during this time. Acknowledge the fact that we have a pandemic, and then it becomes easier for the conversation to flow because it's say, for example, it's a call to a client. They can tell that, well, this person might be trying to sell something to me, but they also sympathize with me. These days, what sells more is the fact that you sympathize with your client. Everybody else is selling cooking oil, everybody else is selling bread and sanitizers. You need to be able to appeal to them. You need to be able to appeal to their emotions. So you need to acknowledge the fact that we're going through such a tough time and things are so hard for everyone. Then you can introduce your subject of the call.
So Mazolo, how best then, let's say if someone is selling something to me and I
Mhm,
don't need that item that they're actually selling, how best can I
mhm.
say no to that person without offending them?
I know those phone calls. It's not very well, it's very easy to offend people, but it's also very easy to just say, well, thank you so much for introducing the product or service to me, but for now, I think we are okay with the service provider we have. Thank you, and you let them go. It's always the best and polite way to do it. So the most important thing that you must remember is to be kind because everyone is going through very hard times. There's no reason for you to say, "Hi, mimi munonetsa nedziropa kandifonera kuti ndakudza ikuti handizvidendika," you know, and most people do that. It's the other person is on their job. They're also supposed to give some reports back to their managers. So it's always nice to just say, thank you for introducing the product to me. Thank you for introducing the service to me. For now, we're okay with what we have. We'll get in touch. Maybe you can give us your details so that we can get in touch when we need something and let them go. Even if you know that you're lying, you'll never get back to them. It's always nice to just be polite and kind on the phone.
Okay. So like right now you've talked about answering the phone call. What about texting? You know, WhatsApp is very popular these days. How then
Mm,
best can we handle clients through WhatsApp?
okay. So I think the most important thing is to note that for the well, you and your friends, you have a way of talking. You have names that you call each other. It's fine, but it is not recommended for you to text someone and say hi dear, hi Han, hey sweetie. I know a lot of men, especially men, I don't know why, but it is not, especially if you don't know me, you just got my number and the next thing you're saying, hi dear. No. As much as dear is polite, you can address me by my first name, hi Sizo, and then we take it from there. If you know it's a man and you don't feel comfortable using their name, it's fine to say good afternoon, say good morning, say good evening, say as you text. But then there are also times when you should limit yourself, you should restrict yourself. You know, business hours these days are from, let's just say, 8 to 3. Afterwards, let people rest. There's no reason for you to text people when they're at their homes and it's family time, they're having dinner and you're sending a message while they're on their dinner table. So we should take note of how we introduce ourselves, how we say we greet people on WhatsApp. Try to stay away from dear and all those other names. Use people's first names. Well, in Zimbabwe, it's okay to use people's surnames. If it's a man, you know, maybe it's Gibson Murewa or something. You can tell this is a man's name. Good evening, Mr. Murewa. It's okay, you can do that. Do not be saying good evening, dear. No, let's stay clear of that. So it's important to address people in a proper way, and it's important to take note of time. Don't text people before 8. Don't text people after 6, and we go on like that.
Okay, it's quite interesting. And also, like another issue that I wanted to ask is pertaining to phone calls. Let's say I'm trying to reach you. I call
Mhm,
your number. Maybe you didn't pick up. How many times
mhm.
am I supposed to try calling you? Is it once or 10 missed calls or 15 missed calls? Maybe it's an urgent issue.
Once, once is enough. Once is enough. I did not answer your call either because my phone is on silent and I'm busy, or because I'm generally basically doing something else and I cannot answer your phone call right now. But then the moment I get to my phone, I'm going to see that maybe was trying to call me. And the polite thing to do is for me to call back. So once is fine because no matter how many times you call, it's going to be missed calls. Whether it's 10, it's 15, it's going to be the same as that one missed call. And when I have the time, when I am in a better position to answer your phone call or to get back to you, I will definitely get back to you. Nobody wants to see 5 missed calls from one person. I know we do it, but there's no reason why we should. One missed call is enough.
Thank you so much, Masolo.
Mhm.
And also another issue is pertaining to networking. So I've had so many opportunities whereby I attended so many conferences. You know, one of the greatest challenges that I had is like when it comes to talking to people, am I supposed to ask for their numbers? How am I supposed to introduce myself? How am I supposed to handle myself around those people? So maybe you could enlighten me on such issues, especially when it comes to
Okay.
networking sessions, whether I've gone out for a brunch, whether it's a conference, whether I've gone to church. How
Mhm.
best can I handle myself around people?
Okay. So, well, thank Corona, we don't have to interact physically right now. So we can just be in a Zoom meeting and you just dismiss yourself and you continue with life. But then in our normal everyday setting, it's okay to introduce yourself. but then you should be able to read the situation. Then the other thing is, as you introduce yourself, we could also talk about business card etiquette. Unfortunately, because of Corona, I'm thinking we're not handing business cards, but you should not ask anyone for. I mean, you should not give your business card before to a person who has not given you theirs first. So what you do is you wait, you introduce yourself, you talk to the person, and if they want to talk to you and tell you more about themselves, they will tell you. But you don't give me your business card if I don't ask you. I don't know if it's making sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It
And
makes
then
sense.
it so happens that people would give you their business cards. People would give you their business cards, and there's a way that you should behave when you get the business card. So you get the business card, and you're supposed to compliment it, even if it's not nice. You're supposed to say something nice about it. So you could get a business card, and you're seeing it, Miss Mazolo, and maybe nothing really is nice about the business card, or you could just say, "Oh, wow, nice design," you know, and then the conversation can continue from there. But one thing that we should stay away from is hiding in corners when we're in settings. It is always good to interact and talk to people. But one thing that we should, well, not one thing, the other thing that we should not is to not disturb conversations. If you find people in the middle of the if in the middle of a conversation, you should not disturb the conversation unless it's a matter of life and death. And this goes even to us being at home. I think even as kids we were being taught, like I said before, that a lot of grooming and etiquette goes back to what we were taught in kindergarten, or what our grandmothers and our mothers taught us. You don't disturb people when they are speaking. But if it's a matter of life and death, then you can always say, "Excuse me," and then the conversation can also include you, or you can be listened to.
Anyway, you mentioned the issue of we thank God we are not meeting physically. So what
Mm,
happens then? Let's say we're in a WhatsApp group. There's a discussion that was being held there. Then maybe I
mhm.
liked one person who was giving the discussion. Then I inbox them. How best can I communicate with them since it's the first time, and I don't think they would have consented for me to inbox them. How then best can I talk to them without being rude and violating their privacy?
Okay. So most of the times presenters are expected to give out their details, or to leave an open ground, open room for people who want more information to come to them. That's generally how it's usually done. So nothing would be fishy or weird by you then going to the person's invoice to say, "I really liked your presentation. Maybe if you could email it to me, this is my email address," and you go on ahead. What is not nice is for you to hit somebody's inbox with something that has nothing to do with the presentation. Because maybe we are here, we have a presentation, we're talking about grooming and etiquette. And let's just say we're having this on WhatsApp. Afterwards, somebody hits me in my inbox and says, maybe, "Sizo, hi, I'm selling Madora." You know, it's something that is totally off. We could say that it's an avenue, unless, of course, I open my inbox and I say, "Guys, those who are saying anything, come to my inbox." But otherwise, it is always good to keep it professional, to keep it to what the discussion was about. Maybe you could try to say, "My name is so and so, and I really liked your presentation. I would like to introduce my business to you, and I'm wondering if you could give me pointers." And then you can continue with the conversation. Let's just try to stay away from irrelevant issues. Let's just try to stay away from going into people's inboxes and saying, "Hi, I like your presentation. Please send me your picture." I don't know. I may do that, but but yeah, let's stay away from things like that.
Okay, Sizo, there is a question in the comment
Mhm.
section. Says, Sizo, can you give it to us again? The one about giving business cards.
Okay, all right. So I was saying with business cards, you don't give out your business card. You ask for the person, for the other person's business. You don't approach me and say, "Sizo, here is my business card. What if I don't want it?" You approach me and say, "Sizo, hi, how are you? I would like to have your business card." And then if I want your business card, then I can ask for it. But otherwise, I can just give you mine and we walk away. But then the fact that I've given you mine could be opening for a conversation. Then you can then contact me for whatever you need, and we will then we've already exchanged numbers. What is not recommended in etiquette rules is you approaching me with your business card. Sizo, oh, good evening, ma'am. Here is my business card. You don't do that, especially to superiors. Let's say, for example, somebody that was the guest speaker, you were at the setting, and there's a guest speaker, and then you just approach them with your business card. I'm just laughing because I'm thinking these days people like writing CEO on their business card. So you're this 25-year-old boy and you have a business card, you turn CEO and you're approaching Dangote there. I don't think it would I don't think it would be nice. So it's always recommended and polite to approach the person and ask for their business
Okay. Thank you
card.
so
Yes.
much. Coach Gumede, I
Yes.
hope you answered on that one. Then moving on to the last part of this
Mhm.
discussion. I just thought this
Mhm.
was necessary. So most of my viewers, they're between the ages of 18 and 30. So let's
Okay.
say you've been asked out on a date
Mhm.
and you want to go out on a date, maybe you want to go and eat out. What are the things that you're supposed to take note of? Maybe this is the first time you meeting that person. You've never like really met in person. You're going out to eat, and also maybe you can highlight the issues pertaining to grooming and etiquette when it comes to eating in public, dressing, and everything around that
Okay.
topic.
Okay. Well, it's very broad. With grooming and etiquette, something comes up every day. It's very broad. But to just shorten it, we start off definitely with the fact that as you leave the house, be in clothes, for example, that are comfortable for you. We don't want it's not nice for you to wear something so short that all the time you're now pulling down because you're no longer comfortable. Now you're trying to sit down, it's so short, you cannot focus on the person because you're now focusing on the clothes. And it's just generally nice to take care of yourself in terms of grooming. If you cannot take care of your long hair, keep it short, please. If you cannot take care of your long hair, keep it short. There is no reason why you should have long hair and then and it's not washed and it's just full of bubulin, just bumped over. If you cannot take care of short hair, of long hair, keep it short. Number one. So here we're talking about you as a person before you even leave the house. Number two, it is always important to brush your teeth when you leave the house. I know that our medical system in the country is not very affordable to many, but once every 6 months, it is recommended for us to see a dentist because there are some things that we cannot reach. You can brush, you can floss, but there are some parts of your mouth that you cannot reach. And no one, I think you guys have experienced this. Nobody wants to interact with anybody with a smelly breath. It's a total no. It won't work. So always take care of your oral hygiene. Always make sure that your face is done nicely. There's no reason why you should overdo your makeup. Do your makeup nicely. Go out looking nice, and just make sure that you are a pleasant person to deal with. At the end of the day, what we want to have is well, maybe elegance could be taking it too far, but it should not be a burden for someone to deal with you. People should not be talking to you and doing this because your breath is not very nice. No, they have to pretend, as if someone is saying something, or as if something, but really because they're just trying to run away from a bad breath. So you take care of the body, that is you. Ladies, okay, not ladies are better, but gents, if we have gents, please roll on, roll on again in the game. It is very, very important. Antiperspirant, the one that you roll under your armpits. Please, guys, please. There is no reason why you should. I think you don't even have to buy the most expensive ones. That's the other thing. People think that things with grooming and dressing, you have to have so much money. No, you don't need to have so much money. You just need to be able to afford soap, to have a towel, and to have clothes that you wash and iron. You know, Nettie, I'm sure you know this. Most of my clothes are from Bari. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I didn't tell you. Somebody will sell me with something that you'll be thinking, wow, this is so nice with shop. And I literally tell you it's Mbarek. Before people would be thinking, Arkungo virus, but I'll be telling the truth. But it's just washed and it's just ironed. And no one will know because you're looking presentable and you're looking nice. Very important. Ladies, shaving your underarms, your armpit. If you're going to wear something sleeveless, no one needs to see that wig. We don't have to have that wig under our arms all the time. Always make sure that it's off, it's out. And I know someone might say, I cannot afford to buy your loan. So what can I do? There are a lot of natural or home remedies that you can use, such that you might not smell pleasantly, but at the same time you won't smell foul. People use baking soda, they mix it with lemon, and you just rub it under your armpit. You can go out for some hours. You're good to go. And the other thing is perfume. People like well, everyone likes someone who smells nice. I like smelling nice. I like being around people who smell nice. But it is always important to note that we should not use scents that are overpowering. You know, we deal with a lot of people who easily get sinuses, who have sinuses, easily get headaches from different scents. So it is always important to just a little on your pulse points. We all know our pulse points, right? So you can just go on behind your ear here, inside your elbow, inside your wrist, and behind your knees. Those are the most important places to spray your perfume on. You should not at any point spray your perfume on your clothes because they damage clothes. Either you're going to have a stain or they're going to tear very quickly. But if you use the pulse points that I've mentioned, you are going to smell nice the whole day. Well, depending with whether with how good your perfume is, but those are the most important places to spray your perfume on. And which other thing? Okay, now come to us being at the table. We talked about the phone. If you're with someone, there's no need for you to be on your phone because the most important person right now is the one that you're talking to. Number two, ladies, this whole thing of applying makeup at tables. You find someone with a spoon and they're already using the spoon as a mirror on the table. It's out. It's, it's a no. So you can always excuse yourself if you feel like you need to touch up and go to the bathroom to finish it off. Or you can just talk to Nettie nicely and you leave the house well prepared. There's no reason for you to do it at the table. The other thing is when you go out for a meal, it is always very polite to order something that is either within the person's same budget or something even less in terms of amounts. Someone can order something for $10 and then you find you ordered a menu for $50, yet you've been invited out. It's it's not nice. It's not nice. So let's try to stay within our host budget so that we are pleasant humans to deal with, and next time they can even ask us out again. Some people have not gone on second dates because you went out on a date and you ordered everything that you could see on the menu, and the person said, "Wow, this is how I go broke." So it is always nice to be considerate of others. It is always nice to put others' needs before ours. It is always nice to say others before self. It is always good to say please, to say thank you, to say excuse me, and to say I'm sorry. Those little words will change a lot of things.
Thank you so much, Sizo. There is a question here for you by
Mm-hmm.
Bridget Tang. How do you handle a situation where you are
Yes.
having a conversation with a high profile client or your boss on WhatsApp, and then he then asks you out and his business is very important to your company?
Okay, these days it's very controversial. The way business is being done is not. It's very different, and also it depends with the kind of person you are. You could politely decline. You could politely decline and not go, or you could go and maintain everything professional when you go out with that person. Keep everything about work, even if they try to divert, bring it back again to work. And if you see that they continue to try and pursue other things that are not professional, you could always maybe talk to your supervisor such that they hand the case to someone else. Sometimes you could be dealing with a man and they're probably going to be asking you out and things like that. You could approach the supervisor and ask that maybe a man is assigned to the issue or to the case or to the client, so that you're taken off the situation. Because I know most of the times women always fall victim to to such situations, and because you're thinking we really need this client, we really need to seal the account, you find yourself in situations that are so hard to take yourself out of. But if you can't just politely decline, I'm very sorry, say I cannot, or I'm very sorry, say I cannot be available, but my colleague can, or you could just take it up to your supervisor and explain your situation. Then your supervisor can hand over the client to a different person.
Thank you so much, Sizo. I hope Bridget was answered. We're only left with less than 15 minutes. So as we are continuing with this conversation, our viewers
Mhm.
will be asking
Can I please?
questions. Aw, and she left. Sorry about that. Um, Sizo, welcome back.
I'm sorry, me and technology. It's a very tough
Sizo,
situation. Can you hear me?
no, not clearly. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Is that better?
Nah, still not clear.
With my mic. How about now?
Yes, I can hear you. So there
Okay.
was a comment from the comment section, and amen. Go on budget them.
That must be a man.
Definitely, it's a man.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we push people away because of the way that we behave ourselves in public settings. But we should also be considerate of the other person before we put our needs above.
Then, Sizo, whilst we're waiting for questions, I have a few more questions to ask you. So, when it
Yes.
comes to the handbag, um, what is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be in the handbag, apparently?
Okay. So,
Lotion.
okay, I'm assuming we're talking about being at a meeting somewhere and you carried your handbag.
Hmm.
Okay. So the rule of thumb is that your handbag is not supposed to be on the table. And
Hmm.
because you're a lady, you cannot have it also on the floor, especially during these days when there's this whole scare of the virus. You don't know where our feet have been, so you cannot have it on the floor. So the easiest thing for you to do is to say, if you're sitting in a chair that has that is arms, you can put your handbag on the arm. Yeah? If you don't, then you can put your handbag at the back where the chair or the seat serves. Put your handbag, but do not at any moment find yourself having your handbag on the table. And the floor is also not a recommended place for it. There are gadgets sell these days. It's a small hook that you can just hook underneath the table, and then you can have your bed there. I think that one is okay, and it helps us a lot in terms of politeness and etiquette and all the other rules that govern how we deal with other people. But on the floor and the table, it's not recommended.
Okay. Thank you. Then, whilst we're waiting for questions, or we're only left with 8 minutes.
Mhm.
Any last words to our viewers? Any words of encouragement? Any important issues that you feel they might benefit from?
Okay, all right. So what I would just like to say is that we're now in a global village. Whether we like it or not, we are dealing with the United States, we're dealing with China, we're dealing with Zambia, we're dealing with a lot of people and those people have different cultures, but there is always one thing that will remain. Everyone will take note of how they saw you the first time they met you, then that's first impressions, and everyone will take note of how you make them feel when they meet you. So we always say that there is no need for people to find us unpleasant because it's deliberate. You can decide to be a nice person or you can decide to be rude. It's a decision that you make. But then there's a lot of things that fall under grooming and etiquette. But the most important of them is always to be a pleasant person, to be a kind person. There's no reason why you should find yourself gossiping, especially ladies. Especially, there is no, we can watch Gossip Girl and leave it there. There's no reason why you should take it out. I'm sure you wouldn't like it if people were talking about you. So there is no reason why you should find yourself talking about other people unless you're praying for them. Otherwise, no reason why. So proper grooming and proper etiquette will always boost our confidence. Proper grooming and proper etiquette will always make us stand apart. You could be going for an interview with the same qualifications as your well, let's just call them an opponent or is the other country. But because you have better grooming and you have better etiquette, you could just get the job just because of that. So those are some of the most important things we should note. And the other thing is when you're feeling confident about yourself, it shows. And when you're confident about yourself, you're bound to make better decisions than you would make. Because sometimes you're not very sure. So when you're not very sure, you either take very long to make decisions or you make poor decisions. So when you're well groomed, you're dressed nicely, you're looking nice, and you're confident of how you're going to maybe speak to the person or present yourself. It always, usually, in most cases, it works out in a positive way. So the other thing that I wanted to point out is the fact that there is no age where we say at this age I'm going to start to take things seriously, or at that age I'm going to start doing that. You can just literally start now and be a better person by the time lockdown is over. And it is always important to, I think I've said this more than once, to consider other people, to consider how you would feel if you were in the other person's shoes. So I think basically that would be my takeaway, my challenge to everybody who's been.
Thank you so much, Sizo. Just in case maybe people would want to talk to you more on this issue, maybe you can leave your social media handles in the comment section. Maybe people
Okay.
can follow you. And
Okay.
thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for
Uh,
having
I
me.
remember when I was talking to you, you were saying 1 hour. It's a lot. Let me break this to you. It's already 1 hour.
And we didn't even touch half of the things that encompass the topic.
Yes.
Yeah,
So maybe we'll do a part two on that. That's if
no,
you are available.
no
So I'll
problem.
definitely let you know
Okay.
when we'll do a part two on grooming and etiquette. Maybe this time you guide me more on what to address so that maybe we're not all over the place with the topics.
Okay. It's not a problem.
Thank you so much, Mazolo.
Thank you.
There's a question actually for you. And on
Okay.
introduction
Yes.
between a boss and a subordinate. And on
Mm-hmm.
introduction between a boss and a subordinate, who meets who? I don't
Who
know if
does
you
what?
get that.
Who? Please say it again.
Who meets who? Or who greets who? I'm not sure.
Okay, you are supposed to greet.
Coach Gomez, maybe you can try to
Who
maybe
meets who?
let
Who
him
greets
try to
who?
explain what he's trying to say.
Okay.
Coach Gomez, maybe you can just try to explain further on your question. From Nolwazi,
Mm-hmm.
she said, thank you. I've learned a lot.
That's nice, Nolan.
Then from Rosemary, she's learning. Maybe you can tell us what you've learned, Chris. So maybe whilst you are waiting for Coach's question, I think you're
Mm-hmm.
still explaining on the issue of handbags before
Oh,
we
okay.
did.
No, no, basically for handbags, that's it. That there isn't much to it. You don't put it down and you don't put it on the table. It also comes down to your elbows. When you're sitting at a dinner table or at a lunch table, we like putting our elbows on the table. This is also not recommended. So the best thing you can do is to have your hands on your laps as you sit, and you don't have your elbows on the table. So it also comes back to the fact you don't put it down and you don't put it on the table.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
Sizo, maybe another issue.
Mm-hmm.
How can you tell maybe someone has offended you?
Mm-hmm.
How best can you tell them that they've offended you without sounding rude actually? Maybe you've done
Okay.
something bad to me and I want to tell you, Sizo, you've done one, two, three things and I don't really like what you did. How best can I tell you that without sounding rude?
Okay. So there are very high chances that if you're saying it to me, the offender, I might find it rude because I'm the one who offended you in the first place. But there is no formula, or there is no better way of seeing it than actually approaching me and saying, Sizo, earlier on we had a conversation, we're talking about this and this, and then you said this and this, and that did not sit well with me. I did not like it. So in future, maybe we could try addressing the issue differently. That's the best way we can do it. But the most important thing to note is you should try as much as you can to let situation cool down before you actually address them. While it's still hot, 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 it's going to blow over. So you could let it cool down, and then later on, when everybody's calm, we can then approach the situation with different eyes. Maybe we've taken a walk, or we have had a breath of fresh air, and we can address the issue. But it is always important to tell someone that they offended you instead of keeping it inside. And there's no reason for you to shout. There's no reason for you to go there with words that are hurtful. And there's no reason for you to bad mouth and backbite the person. It's always important, and it's always easier solved to approach the person and tell them in person instead of saying Nettie offends you, and then you approach someone else and say, you know what, the other time when I was with Nettie, she did this and said that and this. You don't approach the person. They might never know that's how you felt. They might actually have offended you innocently. They didn't know that you took offense. And they will continue to do it unless you address it with them. So it's always important to allow situations to cool down a little bit and then approach the person nicely without shouting. Explain that when this was happening, you did not like how it was handled. Maybe in future, it could be handled in a different way.
Thank you so much, Sizo. From Rosomere, you said I learned that girls should be considerate on my pockets. Then going back to Coach Gomede, you said I'm saying on a situation where these two have to be introduced, who meets who? Like, do you say boss meet subordinate or subordinate meet boss?
Oh, okay. So every time
Sizo, I can barely hear what you're saying. Maybe you can start again.
it's raining. Can you hear me? It's raining. I don't know what. How about now?
Yes,
You can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay. So your boss, that's it. You can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. It's raining, so sometimes can you still hear me? Maybe I will answer. Now,
Yes.
I was saying maybe I can answer this question in the comment section because it's raining, so we're going to
No, it's okay. It's okay. You can answer that one in the comment section.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that.
But now I can hear you.
You can?
Yes.
So I was saying your boss is
Uh,
no,
oh no.
I don't know what happened.
So maybe
I
you can
don't
just
know.
go on and answer in the comment section. So while she's responding in the comment section, to all my viewers, thank you. Special mentions to the ones who've commented in the comment section. Tandanani, thank you so much. Tapiwa, thank you. Bridget Tanga, thank you. Lolazi, thank you for tuning in. Rosemary, thank you. Osle, how are you? It's nice to hear from you. And yeah, I think we'll do a part two on this one. Thank you guys for tuning in. So I will look out after Sizo is posted a comment in the comment section. Then we can call it a night. So if there's anyone who's still for a question, feel free to ask in this last 2 minutes that I used to have with you guys. So yeah, we're waiting for Sizo's comments. Then we'll be done. So maybe whilst we're waiting for Cree for Sizo, um, Bridget Tanga, you can tell us maybe one or two things that you like from this presentation. Trish, maybe you can give us some feedback. Um, Boshe, maybe you can give us some feedback. That's if you're still online. Whilst I'm waiting for Sizo's comments.
Is it
Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Um, most probably we'll see the comments from the comment section. See you again next Wednesday. Same time, same place. Uh, feedback. Feedback tinazo nje, so it is some valid points and the meeting went smoothly. Thank you for this. I learned that it's rude to even touch your phone in a meeting. Learn to value the other person in the room. Also, shouting makeup is not necessary. There's a time and a place for everything. My eyes were really opened on posture and placing my hands and handbag on the table. I am a changed girl now. Thank you, Nolwazi, and thank you, everyone. See you again, same place, same time next week, Wednesday.